Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my January beauty empties. I have a fair amount of stuff here actually to share with you that I finished up over this past month. I've got some hair care, some skincare, and some makeup products. And I think I'm actually really well on my way of my goal of finishing up 50 makeup items within 2019. I feel like that's a pretty steep goal, but based on what I finished up with in January, I think that if I can keep up this kind of momentum, that I actually will be able to achieve that goal of 50 products. So the first item I'm gonna share with you guys is this one right here. I finished this up in my 9 in 2019 project pan. This is Colourpop WeHo, which is a ultra glossy lip. This has maybe a handful of other more uses in it, but I honestly can't be bothered to scrape this out with a spatula because I took out the stopper and it's an absolute mess now. But this is a discontinued shade. It was absolutely beautiful. But I do have the shade Moonchild now, and I feel like they are kind of interchangeable with one another, so I'm not gonna miss WeHo all that much. However, I do prefer the doe foot applicator versus the new brush tip applicator. And yeah, the longevity of these is not amazing. I do find myself having to reapply these lip glosses all the time, or not all the time, but pretty frequently throughout the day. But that's not a problem. They build up really nicely on top of itself again. And yeah, they're really great lip glosses, really inexpensive. And I'm happy to have this out of my collection and to be moving on to other lip glosses within my collection. My most exciting makeup empty to kick off the year is this one right here. This is the Essence Silky Touch Blush in the shade Sweetheart. I don't know why I still can't remember the shade name after using this in 2 different project pans over the last 2 years, but regardless, I did finish it up. I used this up in my roulette pan collab, and the pan is completely empty. I think there's a little bit left on the sides there, but I just can't seem to get that with a brush. So I'm so thrilled to have this used up. This is gonna keep me really motivated for the next couple months, I think, because I feel like last year and nearing the end of the year, I wasn't feeling as motivated to use things up in my collection, but instead I wanted to rotate through things. And I still want to have a balance of the two, but seeing this completely empty pan, an entire 5 grams of blush used up and out of my collection, is super motivating. And yeah, I did love this blush. I'm so happy to have it used up and out of my collection, however. I finished up a mini of the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. This is in the shade Trooper, which is the true black shade. And like I said, this is a mini. It came in a Sephora 500 point perk set. And this one is just pretty dried up at this point. You can't really get a ton of pigmentation out of here. And honestly, I didn't use this all that much as an actual liner, but I did use this all the time on the tops of my lashes where I can't seem to get mascara on, to really deepen up the lashes when I was doing a more dramatic makeup look and I didn't want to wear falsies. And it's really good for that. This is quite inky and very opaque, but it's not something I'm going to be repurchasing. I do have other liners in my collection, and honestly, liquid liner is just not really an essential thing for me. I finished up a Physicians Formula Lash Contortionist. This is the ultra black one, and I used to really like this. I think when I did more natural makeup on an everyday basis. Now I just tend to do dramatic makeup almost all the time, but when I used to do really natural makeup, this was perfect because it really did just tint and slightly lengthen the lashes without being anything too over the top. But as of late, I really wanted a lot of volume, a lot of length, and just really full looking lashes, and this just doesn't seem to do that for me anymore because I love the Milk Kush, and this just doesn't compare to that, unfortunately. And for a drugstore mascara, this is super expensive. This is probably about $20 if you get it at Shoppers Drug Mart. It's always cheaper to buy most brands at places like Walmart, but I think it still sits around that $16, $17 price point, and I feel like that's just insane for a drugstore mascara. So I don't think I'll be picking this up again in the future. On the other hand, I really did love this mascara. This is the Milk Kush. Like I was saying, this is probably my favorite mascara now. This is a 100 point perk actually from Sephora, so I'm really glad to have actually been able to pick up several of these. I do have 2 more minis in my collection and an unopened full size that I purchased before these became a 100 point perk. but I'm super, super happy with the performance of this mascara. I used this until it was like flaking off of my face, like so dry, because I just love it. And yeah, I am definitely gonna be opening up a new one of these really soon. I do want to try to just have one mascara open at a time, so I am going to finish off my Smashbox Superfan, and after that I will just kind of be on a Kush like train for a while, and I'm not mad about that at all. I probably should have cleaned this, but I'm just way too lazy. This is the EcoTools Sponge. This is the second one of these that I have used up until it's like fallen apart, and I really do love this sponge. I can get this at like Winners and Marshalls for around $6 per sponge, and I think that's such a good price because this does tend to last me for about 3-4 months, whereas a Beauty Blender lasts me the same amount of time and it's about $26. Now, I do love the Beauty Blender just as much as I love this, but I do have another one of these open. I do have a Beauty Blender that I'm using at the moment as well, and I find not a major difference between the two. However, I love this like edge on this sponge because I can really just tap my powder underneath my eye. I really do like this sponge, and I am using another one at the moment, and I think I'm just gonna keep purchasing these ongoing because this is just so good, and it's just super effective makeup sponge. I finished up 2 items in the Indian Coconut Nectar scent from Pacifica. This is my favorite scent, I think, of all time because it's a little bit sweet, but it also is a little bit like, I don't know, sensual, I suppose, without being like musky or floral, or being like candy kind of sweetness. It just is like a really delicious vanilla coconut kind of scent. I absolutely adore this. And I did finish up the body butter in this scent. As you get towards the end, if you've had this open for a while, it can lose its scent, and it does smell just like a little bit kind of waxy. I did repurchase this, however, and I want to try to use it up within like 6 months time versus this one. I think it took me about 10 months, and that's when it started to lose the fragrance. But I still liked it anyway because it's a very nourishing body butter. I tend to use it like on my hands and arms, especially when I'm sitting on the couch, and I don't know, I notice like as soon as I sit down to like watch a TV show, I'm like, I'm so dry. I just sit there and I'm so aware of how dry my body is. So I have been using it primarily that way. I do sometimes use it like head to toe, but I'm just not the kind of person who ever really like moisturizes my whole body. I just never have the energy to do that. I'm pretty damn lazy, but this is so nice. I highly recommend this. I haven't tried other scents in this body butter, but I can imagine that the texture is the exact same for other fragrances. So if coconut is not your thing, then I would definitely recommend checking this out in other fragrances. I also finished up a Rollerball of the exact same scent. I absolutely adore this scent, and I did buy the, well, actually Patrick bought it for me for my birthday, the like spray perfume version of this because I'm just not into the idea of using Rollerballs anymore for fragrance. It just grosses me out. There's like little things living in here that I know came off of my own skin, and that's just disgusting. So yeah, I loved this. This was a really great way to really try out the formula. It's not the most long-lasting fragrance, but it is beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful scent, and it is my favorite cruelty-free perfume that I have tried so far. Again, highly recommend the fragrance, and actually with both of these Pacifica Empties, I will be collecting them separate from my like household recycling, and I am sending them off to Pacifica in a couple months time when I have a little bit more to send their way, because they actually have their own recycling program that they do with Preserve, and I'd like to make my contribution to that. So yeah, I'll be holding all of my Pacifica products to send to their recycling program. This is the Sleepy Body Lotion by Lush. This is the best. This is the lavender and tonka scent. I love this so much, and it's completely done, but I can still smell that gorgeous scent. I love this scent so much. It's so relaxing. It's perfect at bedtime. Again, I'll just kind of like slather it like on my chest and on my hands so that as I fall asleep, I'm like immersed in this scent. And I actually do use the body spray on my linens as well. And I just love it. It's so relaxing, so calming. It's so beautiful. I don't have a repurchase of this quite yet, but I think once I finish up a couple other lotions from my collection, I am definitely going to be picking this up, probably in the larger size, because I flew through this. I absolutely love this. If you don't tend to like lavender scents, I personally don't tend to like really florally scents. The tonka in this just adds like a touch of more, not spiciness, but just a little bit more of like a masculine kind of fragrance to it, and I really, really love it. So my camera overheated, but basically I was just saying how much I absolutely love the Sleepy body lotion and highly, highly recommend it. Another item that I finished up this past month is the EO Essentials Sulfate-Free Shampoo. This is the lemon and tea tree scent. And I picked this up kind of on a whim at Winners, just because I thought it might be a really good alternative to my Avalon Organics, the Clarifying Lemon Shampoo, which is my absolute favorite. It's like the only shampoo that really, really works for my very sensitized scalp, my very irritable scalp. And unfortunately, this was just not really an alternative to it. This is not a dupe for it. Patrick ended up pretty much finishing this off. I did use it here and there when my hair wasn't that dirty, but just needed to really be tamed, because this did not really lather. This kind of just, I don't know, there was just something that didn't really feel like a nice deep clean. And I do understand it's sulfate free, but it just didn't feel like as rich of a clean as the clarifying shampoo that I'm used to. So unfortunately, I won't be picking this guy up again, but this was a really good price. I think it sat at something like $10 or $12 for 32 ounces of product. So that's why I wanted to try it out. Much more affordable, much more economical than what I have been using. But unfortunately, it's just not an alternative to it for my personal needs. And of course, we finished up another Jason toothpaste. This is the Sea Fresh, and this has become my new favorite over the Power Smile. I just love the flavor of this just a touch more, because it has a little bit more of a spearmint kind of flavor versus peppermint, but both are really good. That's my absolute favorite cruelty-free natural toothpaste. And yeah, already have another one in the bathroom, and probably will just always have these going at all times. This is an almost empty product, but I do have to declutter it. This is also one of the last non-cruelty-free skincare products that I have kicking around. This is the Philosophy Clear Days Ahead, and it is a moisturizer with salicylic acid in it that is made to help with acne treatment. I actually really did like the way that this sat underneath of makeup. I really like the idea of having a salicylic acid or something along those lines underneath of makeup as a barrier to treat my skin. And I did reach for this a couple weeks ago, actually, thinking that I could use it along my jawline. I have been getting a couple little breakouts here and there along my jawline, and I wanted to pop this on underneath my makeup for the day, but I realized that it expired in October of last year. And I don't think I've actually reached for it since probably August or September of last year, but I just felt the compulsion to reach for it recently, and I didn't even end up putting it on my face. I didn't want to risk it, so it's just gonna go, unfortunately, into the garbage, but there is very little left in here. Like, there's only a very small amount left in the bottom of here, so I don't feel too guilty, but I also just do not want to risk it with my skin. I want to keep any factors that could cause acne or just cause issues with my skin, just keep them to a minimum. So yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be going in the trash, but it is another non-cruelty free product out of my collection. I actually thought I had more here, but the last item I have is just a sample product. I'm going to leave my samples to the end of every single video from now on when it comes to my empties. This is the Volition Helix AM PM Eye Gel. So it's a eye cream that you can use day or night. I only used this sample during the day underneath of makeup because I feel like the idea of a gel means it would be quite smooth underneath of concealer, and I did really like it underneath of makeup. It was really smooth while being hydrating and not causing any sort of like greasiness under the eyes. I really did like this. I actually do have another sample packet that I'm going to work my way through in the coming months. It is quite a steep price point, I believe, for an eye gel, but it is something that I really do enjoy so far. I can't wait to use up the other packet and get more full thoughts on it. I think I got about 3 uses out of here. So yeah, I can definitely get more concrete thoughts on it in the second packet that I have. And yeah, I did really like this, and it's something that I'm looking forward to using again in the near future. So that is absolutely everything that I finished up in terms of beauty products during the month of January. I know I'm getting pretty close to a couple more things in my collection. However, February is a shorter month, so let's just wait and see how many more items I can use up from my collection for February. I really want to keep on track with that goal to finish up 50 makeup products within 2019, and I can easily achieve that goal if I finish 4 to 5 products every single month. So yeah, wish me luck on that goal, and let me know in the comments down below what items you guys finished this month and your thoughts on them, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!